a read from Fear of Intimacy. Fear of intimacy is a fear of death in a world where we have been taught to believe that the bolstering of our individual power is the greatest good. It is difficult to feel then a melting of the walls surrounding us is something to be desired. In some ways we are right. Intimacy does melt the walls. It does mean the surrender of our heretofore completely independent mode of operation. And it does decrease the freedom we have to stand forth in the world as a love and individual force. What it does not do, however, is decrease our personal power. Surrender to love increases personal power, for it expands who we are. That is why Jesus said that those who lose their lives shall find their lives. Until we understand this, we are afraid to surrender to love, for we are afraid to die to who we are. We may loathe who we are, yet we still resist the chance to become someone new. It is only when we are ready to embrace the possibility that we might be tomorrow, who we were not today, that true intimacy becomes attractive. If all you want to do is remain who and what you are now, then by all means don't fall in love. This is particularly hard to do if a parent smothered us, if their love constricted our freedom, or in any other way denied us our own individual life force. There are healthy boundaries and unhealthy ones. Our healthy boundaries must be strong before we are safe to melt. Once our boundaries are strong enough, the refusal to melt is a spiritual weakness. Once you're a solid and strong individual, the next highest step is to surrender it all. What is truly ours can't be taken away. Surrender to love doesn't weaken us but strengthens us. Intimacy doesn't build a bridge to another person, but rather eradicates the illusion that there ever was a gap. There is nothing wrong with admitting to ourselves and others our reticence to surrender. It is important that we recognize our fear in order to be healed of it. What we want to avoid is signaling that we are ready to surrender when in fact we are not. We must be very strong before we are capable of renouncing that strength in favor of a higher power. The individual is powerful, but the extension of our love into the life of another is a higher power. Intimacy is a higher power, for it is the joining of two souls, and there God is. That is why intimacy is sacred and why it is such an important and significant task. God heals the world 2 by 2. Intimacy without surrender is not intimacy, for what we surrender is the armor that keeps us separate. Often we feel we are ready for intimacy when in fact we are not. The ego can be very clever in hiding from our own eyes, much less someone else's, that many and varied games we play in our efforts to dodge love. To the ego, true love of another is death. For the ego is our belief in separation. When the ego has been our partner for so long, it's somewhat difficult to give it up. We feel foolish when we are out from under its cover. What we ultimately learn of course, is that we are foolish when we are not. In surrendering, we do not lose, but only gain. Intimacy means giving up and giving in order to receive everything. We do not surrender to another person so much as to love itself. Intimacy is a very high-level activity. The immature can grow strong, the immature can love, but only the mature can surrender. Let us pray. Dear God, please show me how to love. Teach me how to extend my light into the life of another. Remove the barriers to my soul, the walls which stand in front of my heart. My commitment to aloneness, my resistance to joining. I do not seek love, dear God, for I know it is all around me. I ask instead the healing of my resistance to it, the strengthening of my spirit, that I might learn to love well, to love fully, to love deeply. When my true love calls, dear Lord, please keep my ears open. Let me not shut down. Let me not forsake him or her. Let me always remember that his call to love him is my call to love you. Thank you very much. Amen. Find out. what is it that I need, and how would somebody